Friends, so today we will talk about this very common issue if you are using Zustand for your state management in your app. So this common issue is, if you are just bypassing or ignoring a common fix for that, or common standard for that, then you are going to face this issue. This is called Zustand re-render issue. So let's say if you are using Zustand and you have created a store. So for example, you have this user store over here, and you have this user object which have name, age. There can be another object also which will have multiple properties, not only one properties. So let's say, and if you are using those properties in different components, not only one components. So how a common mistake is going to create this re-render issue. I'm going to talk about that. So let's say you have this user store which have a user object name and age. As of now, these are the properties, and you have created one component which is using only name property of that user. So let's say if you are defining in this way, right, you are accessing the store in this way. You are accessing the entire user object just to get the name for that. So if you are writing like this, like let's say you are just accessing whole user object, and in this component you only need to fetch the name from that store, but you are accessing the whole object over here. So you have followed the standard, and you have one more component which is just accessing the age property, and you have followed the same way. You are accessing whole user object from the store, and then you're just reading the age property from them. Let's say you have written the component in this way, right? This is pretty simple and straightforward. There's nothing wrong in this, except when you go to the UI, right? So we are on UI. We have this two input box. One is fetching the name, one is age. So what is happening here? I'll just show you over the console. Yeah. So let's say you are typing in a totally different component, which is name, which is just fetching the name from the user store. So let's say you are typing test. So the way you are hitting the key on each keystroke, you see this console log which I have added in the component, which is saying name component re-render as well as age component re-render. If you go back to the file, so we were accessing this particular component, name component. So here I have added this console log name component re-render. Yeah, I understand that we are changing the name, so it should be re-render. But why it is showing this console log as well, which is an age component? So this is the issue I was talking about. This is called Zustand re-render issue. And why it is happening? Because we are just fetching all the entire object, user object. We are not fetching the necessary required attributes from the user object. So in this way, let's say if you are changing this particular name, it will create a new reference of user object here as well. So that is why it will, along with user component, it will re-render the age component, because the new reference of user object is being created each time when we change the name. And why it is happening? Because we are just modifying entire user object here. We just fetching entire user object and then modifying entire user object over here. So that is why you see this issue. Even let's clear it out. Even if you change the age component, it will cause re-rendering issue in the name component as well. You see, name component re-render along with age component re-render. So how do we fix this? We just have to follow a simple solution for this one. We just need to be very specific whenever we are fetching the properties of a user state. I mean, when from the Zustand store, when we are reading the store state, we should be more specific to read the property. So here, let's say if this is age component and it needs only one property, so be very specific and read that property only, age, just age. No need to fetch entire user object, just age, right? And here just name. Instead of you reading whole user state, just be specific and read the name property, right? Okay, so let's go back here. Now we have name. Okay, let's notice this one. We are just dealing with the name component, we are not touching the age component. So ideally, after this fix, name component should not be affected and should not be re-rendered unnecessarily. So you see, only name component is being re-rendered with that fix. And if you are going back to the age component, it should re-render only age component, not name component. See, only age component will be rendered. Since we are changing the name, so it will re-render that particular specific component, but it will not impact other component which is using the same property from that store, which is using a different property from the same store. So that is how we fix this issue. Just we need to be more specific when we are reading the property from the state, and we should only use the specific properties, not the whole object. By following this simple method or way or solution, you can say, we can remove this re-rendering issue in the Zustand. I hope you like this video. If you have any doubt, just put it in the comment box, we can discuss on that. Thank you.